My name is Ed Boon. I am the creative director at NetherRealm Studios and the co-creator of Mortal Kombat. I think Mortal Kombat is a combination of a number of things. Obviously, it's a game at its core. It's violent, it's funny, it's over the top, it's outrageous. It's kind of like a combination of a number of just kind of emotional responses. I think it needs to have that comedic element because it doesn't take itself seriously. Like while the characters are all talking, they're all seriously. There's something really funny that happens that you just can't ignore, and I think that's part of like the charm or the personality or the definition of what Mortal Kombat is. There's like a tongue-in-cheekness to it. And I think that's one of the reasons why the fatalities, as outrageous as they are, is that they still work. Is like, you can't take it seriously. It's so outrageous that anybody who would take it seriously, it's difficult not to get the joke. I think the main element is humor, is humor that's inserted in the most ironic, inappropriate places that, like you said with Cassie's fatality, she just shot somebody in the head and then she puts bubble gum, like where did that come from? And so that's, the combination of those two, ironically, the fatalities that we have in the game are so over the top, and 95% of the responses we get is laughter. We have these meetings with everybody where they're coming up with ideas, and somebody inevitably will say something that we go, that's not funny. That's just kind of crossing some kind of difficult to define line, but we all kind of know when it's crossed, and we just kind of back off and stay away from it. We're some of the strongest proponents of labeling games as mature content and whatnot, because our intention is never to make a game for younger audiences. It's always, the average video game player is 29 years old, 30 years old, and so that's the target that we're really shooting for, and so we're in full agreement with the ESRB. The ESRB was the result of a maturing industry. Before, when games were much less sophisticated, it was just little characters jumping over mushrooms and whatnot, and as the graphics and the technology got more and more sophisticated, all of a sudden the visuals that you would see in a game are closer and closer to film or movies or something that you would see there. And with that comes the ability to create content that is, over the top and violent and stuff like that. And so that evolved into a need that we, tend to agree with, of some kind of labeling of saying, hey, this is the kind of content that you're buying. It's like, when you buy a record or a CD that has, lyrics, there's a little label on it. When you go to see a Martin Scorsese movie or something, it's rated R, and you know what you're walking into. It's the same principle, I think. Mortal Kombat in general is really like the byproduct of, kids in their 20s, which was us 20 years ago, who grew up on 80s and 90s movies. Terminator, Predator, Enter the Dragon, Bloodsport, all of these kind of movies that developed so many iconic or cliche or whatever moments. That is what Mortal Kombat is the result of kids who grew up with those things and are given free rein to make a video game. That's what Mortal Kombat is.
He's the world's first documentary filmmaker. That's a robot.
I'm going to ask you some questions.